John stood by his window, the call arriving at an ungodly 3:07 a.m. His father's voice, a venomous hiss, cut through the silence on the telephone. "Your residential complex is ablaze. I trust you possess adequate coverage." John allowed a low, sardonic chuckle to escape him. His father froze on the line. "Why do you find a catastrophe amusing?" he queried, sounding genuinely offended. "Because, father," John whispered, "that edifice was not merely my abode. Fathers are meant to safeguard. Mine, however, mastered the art of destruction." He hadn't always been thus. Or perhaps he had, and John had been too oblivious to discern it. During his early years, his father instructed him in the art of bicycle riding. He applauded when John achieved equilibrium, swore John would one day surpass his own strength. John had believed him, considering him his bedrock. Yet, foundations corrode, and some plummet you directly to the abyss. When his mother departed, his father fractured. Alcohol, gaming, accumulating obligations. John became his guarantee. By the age of 16, he was the one settling accounts, toiling through the evenings while his father indulged his proclivities. His father pledged to reimburse him. He never did. The initial instance he pilfered from John, he absolved him. The second occasion, John feigned ignorance. The third time, comprehension dawned. His father was no longer a man. He was a parasite, and parasites persist until eradicated. The conflagration held no element of surprise for John. He had observed the indicators. His father's sudden preoccupation with his tenant's insurance policy, the manner in which he probed about John's rental agreements, the evening John discovered him perambulating in the car park, claiming he was simply in the vicinity, and then, an overheard dialogue, his father's tone hushed, urgent. "Indeed, the location is covered. Just ensure it appears accidental." It was at that moment John realized his father was prepared to literally incinerate his existence for a monetary settlement. Yet, John did not succumb to panic. He did not confront him. He devised a strategy. John relocated discreetly. Weeks prior to the inferno, he gathered his possessions. He secured a new lease under an alternate identity on the opposite side of the metropolis. His former dwelling, he left meticulously arranged. A few inexpensive garments in the wardrobe. A pre-owned sofa just sufficient to imply occupancy. He contacted the insurance provider, apprising them of the suspicious inquiries his father had been making. Their fraud department initiated an investigation, displaying considerable interest. He conferred with legal counsel, drafting documentation to transfer ownership of specific holdings those his father presumed John still possessed into secured financial schemes, anticipating potential additional avarice. He waited. On the night of the blaze, John was already awake, seated by the casement of his new residence, observing smoke ascend from miles away. When his father made contact, he anticipated shock, apprehension, perhaps even lamentations. What he encountered instead was mirth. "Why do you find a catastrophe amusing?" his father reiterated. "Because, father," John articulated slowly, relishing each syllable, "that edifice was not merely my abode. It was enticement." A silence ensued. Then, his father's respiration quickened. "What are you implying?" John reclined, composed as ice. "I relocated weeks past. The sole entity you ignited tonight was corroboration. And insurance fraud investigators have a fondness for evidence." His father cursed, vociferated, branding John a fabricator. But the tremor in his voice betrayed him. Then he interrupted him with a whisper. "They recorded your conversation, father. The one where you engage someone to light the fuse. By daybreak, you will be a suspect, not a beneficiary." The following dawn, it commenced. Investigators, officers of the law, insurance representatives armed with clipboards. His father's designation featured on every official record. He endeavored to feign ignorance, but the trail was too meticulously laid. His telephonic archives, his financial liabilities, observers who had seen him loitering around the structure, the untraceable payment instrument he had utilized to compensate the incendiary. Gradually, it unraveled, and John did not need to exert himself. The fire consumed his father without affecting him. Weeks subsequently, John saw him once more. A judicial chamber, an orange garment, wrists restrained. His father glanced at him across the aisle. Seeking compassion, perhaps absolution. All John offered him was the identical silence he had received when he was 16, imploring his father not to mortgage his prospects. The judge pronounced the verdict: arson, insurance fraud, conspiracy, numerous years incarcerated. His father recoiled with every spoken word. John remained motionless, steadfast, absorbing his downfall. As they escorted him away, his gaze met John's one final time. John smiled. Not maliciously, merely conclusively. People inquire if he misses him, if he regret. The truth is, John mourned his father years ago, the day he prioritized avarice over kinship. What stood in that judicial chamber was not his father. It was a man who scorched everything he contacted. The blaze he initiated was intended to devastate John. Instead, it unmasked him. Now John resides in his new apartment, modest, tranquil, acquired with his own resources, devoid of spectral presences on the partitions. No footfalls he cannot trust. Occasionally, in the depths of the night, he replays that call in his mind his father's voice. Arrogant and resolute, John's laughter piercing through it. That was the instant he perceived the shift in authority. The parasite was gone. The anchor had descended.